Hey everyone! Today's project is going to be a sleeping mask. In particular, Holly Golightly sleeping mask from Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I know this might seem kind of like a random project right now because I said that we would be focusing on Valentine's Day projects. And it's still appropriate for Valentine's Day. Like if your person is super into sleeping masks, you can make him or her a bunch of cute ones. This is a great project for yourself, like especially if you're single. And the whole idea of this holiday makes you want to curl up in your bed with a big bag of Cheetos and watch movies, and that's totally legit. And now you can look fabulous while you're shutting out the world. I'm just kidding, but not really. Ooh. The other cool thing about this pattern is we're going to start with like a basic sleep mask shape, and then you can basically turn that into any kind of sleep mask that you want. You can do cute animals, you can do superheroes. I'll show you some of the ones that I whipped up. I made a sleepy kitty, suspicious panda, ouch my eyeball fell out, money. And for this one you will need a worsted weight yarn in a teal or an aqua, and this is Lion Brand Kitchen Cotton in Tropic Breeze. You will also need a gold yarn that's more like lightweight, like a sock weight, and this is Lion Brand Vanna's Glamour in Gold. You'll need an H hook and a G hook, or just like a larger hook and a smaller hook. You will need the regular scissors, tapestry needle. I picked up some golden elastic from Joann to hold my sleep mask on, which I'm finding very convenient, but if you don't want to go out and buy elastic, obviously you can just use yarn or ribbon to tie the sleep mask to your head. It's going to be a really quick and dirty project. You're going to be able to pump out like 80 billion sleep masks in no time. You're going to have fun, you're going to look cute, you're going to have the best naps ever in your whole life. I think that's kind of all that I needed to talk about. And let's go! So what we're going to do is start from the top of the sleeping mask, like where your forehead is, and then work our way down to the bottom of it, like where your nose and your cheeks are. So what you're going to do is get your yarn on the hook, and then you're going to chain 17. And row 1, you're going to skip the first chain, and then in the second chain you're going to work an increase, which is 2 single crochet. And 1 single crochet is insert your hook into the desired stitch, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And again, because this is an increase, you're going to insert your hook into the same stitch and work another SC or single crochet. And then working on down the line, you're going to work 14 SC or single crochet evenly. And when I say in my patterns to work evenly, it just means 1 stitch per stitch, so you're not increasing or decreasing. So work 14 more. Oops. And you should have 1 last chain, and in that last chain you're going to work another increase, so that's 2 single crochet in this last chain. So at the end of row 1 you should have 18 single crochet total. So row 2, chain 1 and turn, and you're going to do basically the same thing, which is increase on both ends and work evenly in the middle. So work 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to work 16 single crochet evenly across. And then in the last stitch, work your increase, which is 2 single crochets. So at the end of row 2, you should have at the end of row 2 you should have 20 stitches total. And now we're going to start row 3, so chain 1 and turn. And same concept. You're going to increase on either end and then work evenly across the middle. So in the first stitch, you want to work 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and then across the middle, you're going to be working 18 single crochet evenly across. And in the last stitch, you're going to work that increase, so 2 SC in the last stitch. And at the end of this row, you should have 22 stitches across. So this is sort of what it's looking like right now. Kind of a funky, like, I don't even know what you would call this shape. But if it's looking a little weird, don't worry about it. Mine looks weird too. Okay, so row 4 is the exact same thing again. Chain 1, turn. You're going to increase on either end and work evenly across the center. So in the first stitch, work 2 SC. And then across the center, you'll be working 20 SC evenly. And then in this last stitch, you're going to work 2 single crochet. And at the end of round 4, you should have 24 stitches across. Rows 5 and 6 will be exactly the same. So chain 1 and turn, and for rows 5 and 6, you're just going to work single crochet evenly across. So it's just 1 SC per stitch without any increasing or decreasing. So it would just be 24 single crochet evenly across. So no increasing for both rows 5 and 6. And I will probably skip ahead because nothing really exciting is happening in row 5 and 6. Like I remember, it's just 1 single crochet for every stitch. So this is the end of row 6, and I still have 24 single crochet evenly across. So it's looking like this, kind of like a little boat. And in row 7, we're going to do our increases again. So chain 1 and turn, and work 2 SC in the first stitch. And then you're going to work 22 single crochet or SC all the way across. And when you get to that last stitch, you're going to increase again, so it's 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And at the end of round 7, and at the end of row 7, you should have 26 stitches across. And rows 8 and 9, chain 1 and turn. Row 8 is just working single crochet evenly across, and row 9 is exactly the same. So it's just 1 SC per stitch, just working evenly. And I'm going to jump ahead to that as well. So this is the end of round 9, still kind of looking like a boat. What we're going to start doing now is working on the part that goes around the nose. So what we're going to do is work one side at a time. So we're going to work this side first, and then come back in and work the other side. So we're starting what I'm calling row 10A, because I'm going to call the A side, you know, the side we work on first, and then the B side is the side we work on second. Did I even say that right? I don't even know. Okay, anyway, so this is going to be row 10A. So chain 1 and turn, and you're going to work 10 single crochet evenly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're going to work a decrease, which we're calling SC2, SC2, I have not actually said this out loud. in my brain it looks like SC2 together, or SC2TOG, and that's basically turning 2 stitches from the previous row into 1 stitch in the current row, which then creates a decrease. So SC2 together, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull through 1 loop, insert your hook into the following stitch, yarn over and pull through 1 loop, and then yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops. That's your decrease. And you're going to leave the rest of the stitches in this row unworked until we work on the B side. So row 11A, chain 1 and turn, and you're just going to work evenly across. So 1 single crochet in each stitch, and this will be 11 stitches. So at the end of row 11A, you will have 11 single crochet across, and it will start looking like this. Row 12A, chain 1 and turn. You're going to start decreasing on both sides, so work single crochet 2 together, and then 7 single crochet evenly across, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the remaining 2 stitches you're going to work your SC2 together for the decrease, and at the end of row 12A you should have 9 stitches. Row 13A, chain 1 and turn. You're going to do the exact same thing and just keep decreasing. So in the first 2 stitches work SC2 together, and then in the center you're going to be working 5 single crochet evenly across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the last 2 stitches work another decrease, single crochet 2 together, and at the end of row 13A you should have 7 stitches. And the last row, 14A, chain 1 turn, you're going to work your decrease again, so single crochet 2 together, and then work 3 single crochet evenly across the center, and then in the last 2 stitches you're going to work your decrease again, single crochet 2 together, and at the end of this row you should have 5 stitches. So you can see it's taking its shape now. You can see where your nose is going to go. So we're going to break off. And you only need to break off with enough yarn for you to weave your end in later. You don't have to do it right this second. So we're almost done basically with the main shape of the sleeping mask. And what we're going to do now is continue row 10A. And I'm going to call that row 10B in the pattern. You're basically just doing the exact opposite of the A side and repeating it on the B side. So what we're going to do is flip this back upside down so we can continue on this side of the sleep mask. So where you're going to rejoin your yarn is go to the next free stitch from row 10A, and you're going to skip 2 stitches. You're going to leave these free in the center. It just kind of gives more room for the nose, and then insert your hook into that 3rd stitch. So rejoin your yarn. And then, sorry. Okay. So to begin row 10B, you're going to, well, I already chained 1, so you're going to chain 1, and then in the first 2 stitches single crochet 2 together, your decrease right here, and then work the rest of the 10 stitches in single crochet evenly across. So the end of row 10B should have 11 stitches. Row 11B, chain 1 and turn, and this is just working single crochet evenly across for 11 stitches. and then row 12B, chain 1 and turn, and rows 12B to 14B are just repeats of rows 12A to 14A, which was decreasing on either end and working evenly across through the center. So this is row 12B, where we're going to work a single crochet 2 together, and then 7 single crochets evenly across in the center. Oops. And then in the last 2, you're going to work your SC2 together. Okay, so at the end of row 12B, you should have 9 stitches. For row 13B, chain 1 and turn, and again decrease on each side, so single crochet 2 together, work 5 single crochets evenly through the center, and in the last 2 stitches you work your single crochet 2 together. So the end of row 13B should have 7 stitches across. 14B, chain 1 and turn, single crochet, single crochet 2 together, and then work 3 single crochet evenly across, and then finish with your last SC2 together. Don't break off yet. We're not quite done. I mean, you could be done. This basically looks like a sleep mask, and it's pretty much good to go. But what I like to do, I think it just looks a little bit neater if you work a round of a single crochet, just to give it kind of a nice edge, like a nice border. And a note about that, like when you're working across the top, you can just work 1 single crochet per stitch, or you know, straight lines, you can work 1 single crochet per stitch. But like when you're working on an outer edge like this, in order to maintain the curve, you're going to need to put in increases. It's like 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, just to help go around that curve. If you don't, and you just work evenly, what's going to happen is your piece is going to start curling in. So if you notice your piece start curling in, it means you need to increase more. If it starts ruffling, like kind of making a crinkle, like a ruffle, you're increasing too much. So what I'm going to do is, on my blog, I'm going to have a chart to also help you visualize where I increase. And of course I'll also talk you through it in this video, but I'm just sort of trying to help you understand the basics of how I usually create a border on things. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and we'll just start doing it. So I'm calling this outside round, round 1, because it's technically the first round. So what we're going to do for round 1 is chain 1 and turn, and we're going to start working across the bottom of the sleep mask. So I'm going to work 4 single crochet evenly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the last stitch I'm going to increase 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and I'm increasing just to sort of help me turn that corner so nothing starts ruffling. And I'm going to work 4 single crochets evenly down to the top of the nose part. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then remember how we skipped 2 stitches here? Well, now we're just going to work 1 single crochet each in those 2 stitches. And then I'm going to work 4 single crochet again, back up the other side of the nose. Oops. And then I'm going to work 2 single crochets in this first stitch again to help me kind of turn that corner, and then 3 single crochets across this edge evenly. And in that last, so you can sort of see where I'm at, in this last stitch of this row, I'm going to work 2 single crochet again to get around the corner. So now we're in that curve area I was talking about where you pretty much need to increase fairly regularly to get around the curve. And the motif I'm going to be using is 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then 2 single crochet in the following stitch. I'm just going to keep working like 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm increasing every other stitch. And for me, that's about 6 times, like a total of 18 stitches. And if you need to add an extra single crochet, do so. It doesn't really matter. Like the count here doesn't super matter as long as what you do here is similar to what you do over here. Otherwise, your mask might end up lopsided. So I'm going to work 1 single crochet in the next space here, and then 2 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet again, and then 2 single crochet, 1, and then 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're getting kind of toward the end here. 1, 2, and see how we're like really close to this top edge, our foundation chain? I have like 1 more space before I hit my foundation chain. So I'm just going to work 1 more single crochet. Now across the top here, if you recall, you had 16 foundation chains. So what I'm going to do is work an increase in the first and last spaces and then just work 14 single crochets evenly across. So in this first spot, I'm going to work an increase, 2 single crochet to help me get around that corner, and then 14 single crochets evenly across, just because this is a straight line and you can just work 1 single crochet per each stitch, or in this particular case, it's the other side of your chain. And in this last chain, you're going to work your increase again, 2 single crochet. Now you're at the other side of this curve. I'm going to repeat that motif of 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochet in the following, about 6 times until I get back to this bottom corner, which is where we started. So this is the last stretch. We're really almost done here. So 1 single crochet, and then 2 in the next stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, 1, 2, oops, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see I'm basically back at the first stitch of the round. So I'm just going to slip stitch to that first stitch to join. So slip stitch is insert your hook into the desired stitch, yarn over, and pull through both loops. There you go. This part's basically done. So break off and weave in all your ends. So the next thing that we're going to do is make our eyelids for the mask, and I liked the idea of making mine a little bit bulbous, like a little bit three-dimensional. So we're going to work in the round a little bit to create that look. What we're going to do here is either make a magic circle or chain 3 and slip stitch to the first chain to make your own circle, which is what I do. So chain 3, slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring, chain 1, and round 1, or I guess it's almost like a row, we'll just call it a row. Row 1, work 4 single crochets into your circle. Row 2, chain 1, and work 2 single crochets each in those stitches. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then 5, 6, and then 7, 8. So you kind of have this weird like little half circle right now. Row 3 is chain 1 and turn, and you're just going to work evenly across for a couple rows. So 1 SC per stitch, which will be 8 SC total. This is row 4, chain 1 and turn, and again 1 single crochet in each stitch for a total of 8. Row 5, same thing, chain 1, turn, work 1 single crochet in each stitch. Oops. Row 6 is my last row here, and I'm just going to increase just so that the bottom edge of the eyelid kind of fans out a little bit. So work 2 single crochet in the first stitch. That'll be 6 single crochet evenly. And in the last stitch, you're going to work 2 single crochet again, your increase. And you're going to break off and leave yourself at least 18 inches because you're going to use this for sewing the eyelid to the mask. And you can either weave this end in now or you can do it later, whichever is easier for you. I will probably weave my beginning ends in now just so they're not in my way. So I have these 2 eyelids and I wanted to talk about eyelashes for a second. If you go to a fabric store and you look in the trim section, there's a lot of cool stuff there. And they do have like a gold trim that has like hairy stuff sticking out of it, it will look like eyelashes. But if you don't want to buy extra trim and you just want to use gold yarn, that's what I'm going to do for mine. This Lion brand Vanna's Glamour is pretty thin, so I think it could mimic the eyelashes pretty well. This is what the finished eyelid looks like with all its eyelashes on it. Take some gold yarn, and I'm just going to wrap it around 3 of my fingers over and over. And I need about 20 eyelashes, so just wrap it like more than 20 times just in case you make a mistake and you have extra to work with. And then just snip it off. And all you're going to do after you've wrapped this yarn around a couple times is just pick any spot and just give it 1 snip. And these are the lengths of your eyelashes that you're going to work with. Sorry the lighting is kind of weird in here right now. It's kind of harsh and shadowy, but I don't really have a good nighttime filming situation yet. I'll work on it. That's why I like shooting during the day. Then I don't have to worry about the lighting, but sometimes there's just not enough hours in the day and you have to do stuff at night. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put 2 tassels, or 2 pieces of yarn per tassel on this last row of the eyelid. And so since the last row has 10 stitches, that's why we needed 20 eyelashes. And so if you want to use just 1 piece of yarn, I mean, that's totally up to you. I'm using 2 pieces of yarn. So all you're going to do is, I'm going to turn this upside down. It's just easier for me to work on. if you've never made a tassel before, stick your hook into the stitch you want to insert your eyelashes into, and then you're going to take your 2 lengths of yarn and fold them in half, and you want to get as close to the middle as possible so that most of your eyelashes are the same length. And then you're just going to hook the middle like this, and you're going to bring it through the stitch, not all the way through, just as if you were crocheting, and then you're going to yarn over all the tassel ends here, all the yarn ends, and pull through that loop. So if you've made tassels before, that's super basic. It's super easy. After pulling them through, I would tug on each strand just to make sure it's nice and tight around the stitch. You're going to repeat that a total of 10 times, 1 for each stitch. When you're all finished with your tassels, then you just have to give them a little haircut. So I'll usually kind of pull out the eyelashes a little bit like that because my yarn's a little crimpy for some reason. And if you're afraid to go too short, just start longer, and then you can just keep trimming them. Sorry about the dogs. They bark at everything, and they do have bark collars, but I'm trying to give them a break from them right now because they've been wearing them a lot today. So yeah, bear with me. It's actually a pretty good length, I think. I'll just trim this up a little bit more. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, while you're at it, if you can kind of get some uniformity, it's probably ideal. Okay, I'm gonna stop messing with it. That's pretty good. So our next step is sewing the eyelids to the eye mask. You could just press the eyelid down flat if you wanted, and then sew around here, and even down to the bottom of the eyelid if you wanted. But the reason why I created the pattern the way I did was because it kind of naturally forms this little cup, and I thought it was cute for it to be a little like convex, like it sticks out a little bit. Which means like you would be sewing it on differently. Like instead of pushing it out flat and sewing it, you would need to remember to keep it kind of sticking out like this while you sew. And then if you want, you can use pins to help keep everything in place. So I would probably put a pin. Oh, this cotton yarn's really thick. It's a little low. Probably bring it up a little bit. Pin the top in the right position, and then kind of shape and form how you want that eyelid to look. And then I would anchor it down on this side here. Maybe having a pin that's not crooked would help. So pin this in place, and then I don't think you really need to pin this side because this is where my yarn is, and I'm going to start sewing here anyway. You can put a pin if you want, but I think it'll just get in the way and I don't want to poke my finger. So then yeah, just start sewing like this. And I'm just going to use whip stitch. Like you can't really see the stitches, so I'm not super worried about it being ugly. Let's get a tapestry needle. 1 second. Since I'm grabbing them and looking at a packet of them, and in case you ever wondered what tapestry needles I like to buy, there are plastic ones, but I don't prefer the plastic ones. I like the metal ones, and the ones that I make are made by DMC, the same company who makes embroidery floss, and you can get them in all different sizes. I happen to really like the size 16. I also like an 18, which is a little bit smaller, but I don't know, just for me, like the 16 just feels good in my hand and accommodates most of my worsted weight yarn, which is what I'm usually using. Oops, I just did that and it split. Okay, so just go on in there and just start I'm just going to sew around the top of the lid, and since this is kind of poofing out at the bottom, I'm just going to leave that unsewn. So just start going in there. Again, I hate sewing. Like, sewing is my least favorite part of crocheting a project. So, can't see the stitches here, and it really doesn't have to be the most gorgeous seamstress work ever, because I don't know how to do that anyway. And the cool thing is that we're all using the same colors, so all the stitches are pretty hidden. If you happen to make eyes that are a different color than your mask, you have to probably be a little bit more diligent about how you're sewing and how you're hiding your stitches. But for the Breakfast at Tiffany's mask, you can kind of just go ape and just do whatever you want, and it's still gonna look super cute. Okay, I just pulled out that pin while I was talking, which was kind of dumb. I just kind of clamp that with my finger to remember where I want the edge of this eyelid to sit. And again, it's no biggie. If your eyelid ends up just being flat against the mask, it will still be cute. But I just am doing it this way because it's just sort of the vision that I had. Okay, so we finished sewing this eyelid, and then just, you know, tie it down to secure it, and then weave in that end. And then we're just going to sew on the other eyelid the exact same way. The next thing we're going to do is give her her golden eyebrows, and you can either embroider them or you can surface crochet them. I tend to do either or, just whatever feels more comfortable at that particular time. I think I will surface crochet them. Surface crochet is just when your stitches are worked into a crochet fabric you already made. I'm probably explaining this wrong. It's much like embroidery. It's just slip stitching through a piece of material so that you can put designs on it. So for the surface crochet or the surface slip stitch, insert your hook where you want to start, and we're gonna attach the yarn to our hook and pull through up to the top here. And originally I thought I was going to use a smaller hook, like a G or an F hook, but it's actually probably better to use your H hook still. You don't want to work super tightly, you don't want to pull the yarn too tightly, because you kind of want your stitches to lay like really prettily on top. You don't want them to get super tight and bunchy and to like scrunch up your work. So insert your hook into the next space, yarn over on the underneath, and pull through, and then that's your first stitch. Then insert your hook into the next space you want to go, which is, I don't know, maybe I'll go here, and then yarn over underneath and pull. Don't pull too tight, remember, because your stitches can just travel prettily on top, and you can see my stitches are pretty big, so just, you know, be relaxed about it and don't tense up about it. Stick your hook into the next stitch, pull over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. Don't pull over, it's something different. And just keep working like that. And if it's easier for you to visualize where you want your eyebrows to go, use one of those disappearing ink fabric pens and draw out the arch of the eyebrow first, which is probably smart, and I should do that myself. And you can make sure both of your eyebrows are even. Just pull through like that. Works out pretty well. And then just do the exact same thing on the other side. The last thing we're going to crochet is the golden border that will go all the way around the sleeping mask. And you can do this really simply by just kind of repeating what we did here. You can just insert your hook and just start slip stitching through the outside edge with gold. And again, I would use the H hook, and I would keep it pretty loose. Don't tighten it up too much because the
the gold yarn is thinner and you don't want your mask to start crinkling in. But what I'm going to do is show you a really simple border. People with more experience can obviously look at patterns for fancier edgings, but for the beginners, I'm just going to show you a super easy one that I think is still really cute and really versatile. It's really easy to alter the pattern depending on how thick your edging yarn is. So all you're going to do is join your yarn anywhere on the mask. It doesn't matter since you're going to go all the way around. And the pattern is easy. It's chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the next stitch. And that's really it. You're just going to keep repeating that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. That's pretty much it. If you happen to be using a slightly thicker yarn and you feel like your border is getting too bunchy or ruffly, all you have to do is reduce the chain count to maybe 3 instead of 4. So your pattern would be 3 chains and then slip stitch into the next. Or you might also have to, oops, I just undid what I just crocheted. The other thing is you can still keep chaining 4, but instead of slip stitching into the next stitch, you might want to skip the next stitch and then slip stitch into the following one, and that will help loosen up your border a little bit. But again, that's really probably only necessary if like you're using a worsted weight yarn. And if you know of a brand of yarn that makes a worsted weight gold, do let me know. I would be interested. So I'm going to keep going all the way around here, and then all we have to do is put on our golden elastic, and then we're done. So here's what it looks like with our border all complete, and all we have to do is attach our elastic headband thingy. So I have this golden elastic, and I'm just going to do it super quick and dirty. I'm sure if you wanted, you could sew it to the back here. I'm just gonna tie it. That's just the kind of person I am right now. I mean, if you were gonna send this as a gift, you might want to think of a better way to attach this, but I'm just tying it for now. That's just me. Just gonna tie this and make sure my knot is at least in the back. And trim that end. And then I'm just measuring this around my own head, which is kind of big, and my hair is kind of big too. So I'm not going to tell you what length to cut. You should just measure your own head, which I'm sure is a more average size than mine. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm in about the same row as my other side. And then just going to bring this through and tie another knot. Oops. And trim that. And you're totally done.
So I hope you guys had a lot of fun making your fabulous new sleeping mask. Now we can all feel like we're part of one giant global slumber party, which is very exciting to me. Do not fret, I still plan to do a couple more Valentine's Day projects. We just have a couple more weeks, but I think that's still plenty of time. So I think we're going to do cupcake garland just because it's been so highly requested, and probably a heart-shaped pillow. And I'm thinking maybe little candy bonbons because that was requested as well. Not the wrapped candy tutorial that I already have up, but more like little chocolates in sort of a chocolate in the paper, like a little truffle. So maybe we'll do that as well. If you have other requests, either for Valentine's Day or otherwise, just leave a comment. And yeah, I think that's it. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye.